All right, 10.7, circles in the coordinate plane. So starting off, we're doing equations of circles here. This formula would be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. You can kind of see how that would tie in with the Pythagorean theorem there. HK is our center. And notice that there's a negative symbol in our formula. So say that you had the, well, we'll do that in just a moment. If the x coordinate is positive, then you're going to list it in the formula as negative, and then also the reverse of that. And notice that in the formula, it's radius squared, right? So if there was a 25 listed there, your radius would actually be 5. All right, example 23. So we have two different circles here. We have circle number 1 and circle number 2. Starting off with the circle on the left, a circle with a center of 7, 0 and a radius of 6. We need to plug it into the standard equation that we have up here. This would be x minus 7 squared plus, this would be y minus 0 squared equals 6 squared. And you can simplify this a little bit to be x minus 7 squared plus y squared equals 6 squared. And I normally leave it as 6 squared. If it's a nice, pretty number, I like to leave it as the number squared. Now, if it was some weird thing like 5 root 3, I'd probably leave that as whatever it was squared, right? So if your radius was some kind of weird number like 5 root 3 or some weird decimal, I'd probably just go ahead and square it and leave that in the formula. But if it's a nice number that has a perfect square or a perfect root, I'd leave it like this. Number 2, our center is at 0. Our radius, it looks like that is 4. Yep. So I'd have, since it's at 0, this will just be x squared plus y squared equals our radius 4 squared. And again, the radius there, you can write that as 16 if you'd like. I normally like to just leave it as 4 because that, to me, it's more useful to be able to see the radius, the length of the radius immediately in the formula, rather than have it listed as 16, and then you have to take the square root in your head to be able to find the radius. Example 25, write the standard form equation. So this should be, I don't know what this should be. I know this is supposed to be a plus. We'll say that that's a plus. That's a minus, that's a plus, and that's an equals. Now, whenever it's written like this, you can kind of see that it is similar to what this would be, only if they were to distribute out all of this piece over there. So that instead of writing it as a nice x minus 7 squared, they went ahead and squared that and distributed it out. So here we're going to have to undo distribute. We're going to have to factor it, and we're also going to have to, by factoring, we're going to have to complete the square in there. So starting off, we need to break this apart into our, like put our x's together, put our y's together, and we're going to have to add in some blanks. So starting off, I'll say x squared plus 4x plus blank. So that took care of this guy and this guy. And remember, the blank is because I want to complete the square. And then I'm going to have plus y squared minus 8y plus blank. And now I'm going to move this positive 5 onto the right side of the equation, so it'll be a negative 5 there. And then I'm going to have plus blank on the right side as well, right? This blank is the same thing as this one, right? If I add something to the left side, I have to add it to the right. And then this blank is this blank. If I add something to the left, I have to add it to the right. Now remember, completing the square, we do, let's look at just this piece here. Just at the x's, just at the 3 first terms there. You do b divided by 2, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, squared is 4. So that's what goes in my blanks, and I have to put that in both of my yellow blanks there. Now, we have designed this to factor, we've completed the square, so this will be x plus 2 squared. And the 2 will always be this term divided by 2, whatever the b term is. Now for our y's. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. So in both my blanks, I get 16s. This piece now will factor to be y minus 4 squared. And again, that negative 4 comes from b divided by 2. Whatever your b term is, in this case it's negative 8, you divide it by 2, and that's whatever goes in your parentheses. Now here we'll have negative 5 plus 4 plus 16. So that gives me 15. So this would have a center of negative 2, 4, and a radius, well, that would be a radius of root 15. Now, going about graphing these, this one has a root 15, so I'm not actually going to graph this one. We'll look at the next one, and hopefully it comes out a little bit nicer, and we'll be able to graph it there, okay? Looking at number 25. This one will be x squared plus y squared minus 8x. Is it minus 8x? I think it's minus 8x. Plus 4y and plus 16 equals 0. So rewriting this one in order, I would have x squared minus 8x plus blank plus y squared plus 4y plus blank equals, I'll have negative 16 plus blank plus blank. Right, I moved that 16 to the right side, so that makes it negative. In my blanks, negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4, squared is 16. 4 divided by 2 is 2, squared is 4. There we are. On the left side there, right here, we can factor. This would be x minus 4 squared. This would be y plus 2 squared equals 4. Right? Negative 16 plus 16 is 0, and then plus 4. So here my center will be 4, negative 2, and my radius will be 2, right? The square root of 4. So going about graphing this one, I first plot my center, which would be 4, negative 2 right there. And my radius is 2, so I go up 2, left 2, down 2, and right 2. So I have my edges of the circle there. And now you just kind of do your best and make it look like a circle. And I'm not going to probably make it look like a circle. There we are. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. I don't expect your circles to look super awesome. We're drawing them by hand, and they're just not going to look great. Next up, example 26. Write the equation of a circle with the center at there, at negative 7, 2, and a point on the circle is 1, negative 8. So they did not give us the radius there. So this will be x plus 7 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals r squared. What I did there is I plugged in my center into my formula, and I left the r, my radius, as the variable there. Now we can plug in the other point into my x and y, and we'll actually be able to find the radius. So we'll have 1 plus 7 squared plus negative 8 minus 2 squared equals r squared. So 8 squared plus negative 10 squared equals r squared. 64 plus 100 is r squared. So 164 is r squared. I don't think that's going to give us a nice pretty root, so I'm going to leave it as is. And I'm going to plug back into the top formula that I had. So this will be x plus 7 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 164. And there we are. All right, that is circles.